Greetings all! Today, we will be examining the legendary Pokemon Latias and Latios, collectively known as the Eon Pokémon. Though they might only be seen by those that are pure of heart and truly wish for nothing more than to have a friendly encounter with these creatures, Latias and Latios are majestic beasts that can more than bring some serious power to a fight when they feel the ones they care for are in danger. Latias and Latios possess bird-like bodies with only a single pair of opposable appendages, their forelegs, which each have 3 claws to them and are connected to their body at the front of their form. Their wings stick out from their body at an angle when they are resting, but can be straightened as they fly, and have a trio of pronged feather clumps at their tips, with a secondary pair of tassel-like feathers attached to their underside that end with frills and help steer them in flight. They have a long neck upon which their head sits, which is pointed in form, and has a pair of hair tufts that mark where their ears are, additionally having a hollow triangle-shaped marking on their face and a similar one on their chest. The two are nearly identical in form, with the only major difference being that Latias have a red and white color scheme with a blue triangle on their chest and yellow eyes, whereas Latios have a blue and white color pattern to their body with a red triangle on their chest and red eyes. It is additionally noted that these two have the ability to Mega Evolve, and in this state, their general form changes only somewhat, with their large wings moving to their now enlarged forearms and their back lower extensions becoming more solid in form, both of them having a purple and grey color scheme to their body. Their form also has additional grey triangles on the outside of their forearms and additional hair tufts on their face, and the two look nearly identical, save for the two still having the same color to their eyes as they did in their normal state. Latias and Latios are impressive creatures whose extreme rarity and powerful abilities put them a cut above the rest, but in reality it is the hearts and minds of these creatures that should truly be cherished the most. Compared to even other Psychic-type Pokemon, these creatures very much react to others based on their emotions more than anything else, and tend to only show themselves to those of positive dispositions and good in heart, which helps to keep them safe as they generally try to be friendly towards others if they feel they can trust them. Both of these creatures are able to understand human speech merely by observing its usage in society, and their intelligence does not stop there in being displayed, as they are further able to telepathically communicate their feelings and even thoughts to others. Latias in particular are highly emotional and will respond much more readily than Latios to how others feel, and if they sense great hostility towards them, they will ruffle their feathers and shrill loudly to try and intimidate and scare away the ones near them with such thoughts or intentions. On the other hand, while not as emotionally charged, Latios have the ability to show others what they have seen with their own eyes by psychically projecting the images into their target's head, and while this can be used to disorient and confuse others, they will usually only do this as a friendly gesture to those that they trust and sense have a compassionate spirit. These creatures are linked genetically as they exist as sexual counterparts to each other, Latias always being female and Latios male, but do not generally breed with each other as they are more like siblings and Latios are effectively sterile. As such, Latias have to rely on other creatures to fill in the gap, and as strange as it may sound, humans more often than not end up fulfilling that role, even if Latias only needs certain parts from a partner's DNA in order to replicate and create more of their kind or Latios. While there might be some noticeable differences between the two, both of these legendary Pokemon are linked by an item called the Soul Dew, which is supposedly made from the crystallized soul of a Latios when it passes on. Whether or not this is the case is uncertain, but it can at least be said that the item has a powerful effect on these Pokemon, for when held by a Latias or Latios, this item will raise their special attack and special defense stats by 50%, serving to make them a serious threat and not worth underestimating in any sense when they are present on the battlefield. Their ability to fly is also what is responsible for both of them having access to only the levitate ability, ensuring that these high flyers can get the benefits of being one without needing to be flying types directly. Latias are by far the friendlier member of this duo and are a joy to have around, though to many they could easily be walking or flying right past you and you might never notice. This is because the downy feathers that cover the bodies of these creatures have glass-like properties to them in that they are able to refract light around them, which these creatures can then use to turn their entire forms almost completely invisible, hiding them from sight. However, if they really feel up to it, these majestic creatures can also use this, in combination with their psychic powers, to alter the way that light bends around them and effectively create an illusion that allows them to change how they appear to others, taking the shape of other Pokemon and even humans in order to mingle with others without necessarily giving away their true identity. These disguises are almost completely foolproof, save for the fact that they can't talk and communicate with others without blowing their cover, so it is not uncommon for these creatures to go years and even lifetimes without being caught, which also helps them in their need for humans to reproduce. Aside from this, these creatures are able to use their fluffy down to utilize a unique signature attack known as the Mist Ball attack, in which these creatures create an energy field that sticks a ball of their own down together and then fire the projectile at an opponent. The attack can deal some moderate damage when the unstable energy field holding it together destabilizes and detonates upon impact, but it is generally more useful for its tactical purposes, as the move has the effect of damaging the body of the target and potentially crippling their capacity to harness special energy as a weapon, lowering the target's special attack stat 50% of the time, and in turn making it a great attack to strategize around in battle. As far as the stats are concerned, Latias do not have much in the way of stamina and physical power to work with compared to the other stats, and generally prefer to avoid physical conflicts if at all possible, their base HP and attack stats being below average for a fully evolved Psychic and Dragon-type Pokemon. They do, however, excel at long-range combat and are able to take damage from attacks quite well, special attacks especially, and move around at deceptive speeds, resulting in the base defense stat being above average for fully evolved Psychic-type Pokemon, and their base special attack, special defense, and speed stats being above average for fully evolved Pokemon of both of their types. These creatures might be peacekeepers for the most part, but they can still hit hard and make themselves quite the defensive nuisance if backed into a corner. Latios, while not having the same camouflaging abilities as Latias, are gifted with one ability that helps to make up for this tremendously: their incredible movement speed. When these creatures tuck in their forelegs and lay their wings flat, they are able to reduce the air resistance against them and accelerate their bodies to incredible speeds, beyond that of even a jet plane, soaring through the skies with incredible speed as they blast through clouds and leave most others eating their sky dust if being pursued. This doesn't do a lot for them in terms of being able to mingle with human society, but this seems to fit these creatures just fine, as they usually avoid humans if at all possible for the sake of keeping themselves safe from attack. They can, however, still disorient others by using their psychic powers in order to send real-time images and even memories of their past to others to cloud their thoughts, confusing them and giving Latios the chance to escape with little worry. This directly translates into their signature attack, the Luster Purge attack, which involves them using abstract imagery projected from their head in combination with their psychic power to discharge a burst of psychic energy in the form of a damaging burst of light. This attack is only moderately damaging at worst, but it has the effect of inducing a polarizing charge on the opposition that can mess with their body's ability to resist damage from special attacks, effectively lowering their target's special defense stat 50% of the time and making the otherwise lackluster move a powerful strategic tool in battle. As far as the stats go, Latios are very much like Latias in that they are not built for close quarters confrontations and do not have a great deal of stamina to work with, resulting in their base HP and defense stats being below average for a fully evolved Psychic and Dragon-type Pokemon. However, they more than make up for this in their offensive abilities, special in particular, resistance to special attacks, and agility thanks to the fluffy down covering their forms, resulting in them having above average base attack stat for a fully evolved Psychic-type Pokemon, and above average base special attack, special defense, and speed stats for fully evolved Pokemon of both of their types. They might not look that dangerous, but Latios are powerful fighters that can definitely prove to be a handful to have to deal with and not a threat to take lightly in any combat situation. It is further noted that Latias and Latios are two of the few Pokemon that are known to be capable of undergoing the process of Mega Evolution when they are in possession of a Latiosite and Latiosite, respectively. In this form, these creatures take on a muted body shade of purple, a combination of the two primary colors of these linked Pokemon, and while the change in form does not add much to their agility, the movement of their wings onto their forearms allows these creatures to move with much greater stability in the air, allowing them to soar high up in the sky, far beyond where they normally would cruise at. This can make them a great source of transportation across wide swaths of land, and it is said that the rare Eon Flute item is enough to cause these creatures to Mega Evolve instantly, though only long enough to get riders from one location to another. When Mega Evolving, Latias as Mega Latias acquire a moderate increase in the base attack and special defense stats, and a considerable increase in the base defense and special attack stats, in turn coming to possess the highest base special defense stat out of all Dragon-type Pokemon, tied with Goodra. Latios, on the other hand, when they Mega Evolve, experience a slight increase to their base special defense stat, a moderate increase to their base defense stat, a considerable increase to the base special attack stat, and a critical increase to the base attack stat, making them both and Mega Latias truly fearsome beasts not worth approaching without the strongest possible counters imaginable. While Latias and Latios generally remain outside the viewing pleasure of the media, there is one recent event involving one of each species that should be mentioned: the Alto Mare incident. The port town of Alto Mare is a beautiful resort town in the Johto region, well known for its intricate canals and homely atmosphere, but what most people don't know is that the town was almost completely destroyed once by a massive tsunami and a sudden attack by prehistoric Pokemon like Kabutops and Aerodactyl. The town was saved by the timely intervention of a soul Latios though, which used its own power to stop and destroy the forces threatening the city. This so drained the creature of its life energy that its body died, leaving only the crystallized remains of its power behind in the form of a soul dew. Afterwards, the people of Alto Mare built a powerful weapon, the Defense Mechanism of Alto Mare, or DMA, that would protect the city in case such a crisis were to ever happen again. Although the device was designed to utilize the soul dew as a power source, because it was never used, both the machine and the soul dew faded into history. 16 years ago, however, after the city's annual Tour de Alto Mare, a human and Pokémon swimming competition designed to give thanks to the great guardian that saved the city long ago, a pair of spies from the former criminal organization Team Rocket, known only as Annie and Oakley, attempted to take the DMA and use it as a weapon by capturing both of the descendants of the original Latios, Latias and Latios, under the care of a local boatmaker and his daughter, and using them in combination with the soul dew to activate the ancient machine. Unfortunately, the situation escalated out of control when the soul dew was used for too long and finally broke, causing the machine to go out of control and generate a massive tsunami capable of swallowing the entire town. Thanks to the help of a few visiting trainers, however, both the Latias and Latios were freed, in turn allowing the Latios to do what its ancestor had done. This sacrifice deactivated the DMA and saved the town from destruction, but the massive loss in energy caused the Latios to die, leaving only a soul dew behind in its demise. Records of events following the incident, particularly involving the now siblingless Latias, have been kept under close wraps by locals, most likely in an attempt to completely bury the town's history in case someone else were to try and reactivate the DMA again. Elegant in form and truly a threat when backed into a corner, the members of the Eon duo are powerful creatures that can bring both elegance and fierce power with them into any scuffle they might get into. The chances of you ever seeing one of these might be slim to none, but if you are good in heart and wish to merely be a friend and ally, then you might just someday be greeted by them in your travels. Of course, if you're just looking for an awesome ride, they can more than provide that in spades. Just make sure to stay on their good side, while these draconic creatures will gladly show you how the power of two can more than prove to be a dangerous force that even the strongest of fighters may be forced to bow down to. Thank you all for watching this video. It is always an honor to be able to speak with you all on the subject of Pokemon in a way that brings me great joy and happiness in my work. If you would like to keep tabs on past and future work, click that subscribe button, check out my work on DeviantArt, and don't be shy about following me on Twitter, where you can find pertinent announcements on upcoming work before it is officially posted. Links to both can be found in the video description. If you would like to support my work and help Miguel and I continue to produce more content for you and improve upon our presentation, please visit us at my Patreon page, which you can also find a link to in the video description.
No.
With that, I thank you for watching and I wish you well.